Before we begin, I want you to sit still for a moment and listen, not to me, but to that quiet emptiness that's been echoing inside you, that silence you keep running from. It's not your enemy. It's the truth you've buried beneath distractions, noise, and people who were never meant to stay. This is where the real work begins. This is where you learn what it means to be alone like a Stoic, because the truth is, being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is what happens when you crave validation, attention, or noise to drown out your thoughts. But solitude, real, disciplined solitude, that's where power is born. The kind Marcus Aurelius found in his tent before battle. The kind Seneca wrote about while facing exile. The kind Epictetus mastered after being enslaved and freed, when he realized that no man could imprison his mind. You see, solitude isn't a punishment. It's purification. And if you can master it, you become untouchable. We live in an age where silence terrifies people. They'll scroll endlessly just to avoid hearing their own thoughts. They'll chase companionship not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of facing themselves. But the Stoic chooses solitude as a weapon. He understands that when you sit alone with your mind, you meet the real you, the restless, angry, fearful, ambitious you. And when you stop fighting that encounter, something happens. You begin to see clearly. You begin to strip away illusions, who you thought you were, what you thought you needed, and why you've been chasing things that never bring peace. There will be days when silence feels unbearable, when it feels like the walls are closing in. But that's not loneliness. That's detox. That's your soul adjusting to life without constant noise. The Stoics believed that peace isn't found in comfort. It's found in control. And control begins with the mind. If you can sit in a room alone, without needing music, screens, or voices to calm you, you've already surpassed most people. You've taken your first step toward inner mastery. The rest of the world runs from silence because silence forces truth to surface. But you face it. You don't flinch. You look your mind in the eye and say, "I'm not afraid of you anymore." Think of Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, surrounded by armies, chaos, betrayal. Yet his greatest strength came from solitude. Each night he wrote in his journal, not for glory or record, but for clarity. Those writings became meditations, a conversation with his own soul. No therapist, no audience, no applause. Just him, his thoughts, and the discipline to face them. Seneca said, "The greatest blessings of mankind are within us, and within our reach." But most people never look inward. They're too afraid of what they'll find. They'd rather fill the silence with distractions than face the emptiness that demands change. When you learn to be alone, you stop begging the world to fill your void. You realize that your peace was never meant to come from others. It comes from your alignment with reason, discipline, and virtue. You start seeing solitude as training, like a soldier sharpening his sword in darkness before the war, because life is a war against chaos, temptation, weakness, and noise. Every time you choose to sit with your thoughts instead of escaping them, you win. Every time you reflect before reacting, you strengthen your mind. And every time you stay calm when the world screams for attention, you reclaim your power. But solitude also exposes your darkness, your regrets, your failures, your insecurities. It shows you everything you've been hiding behind laughter and company. Most people run from this phase. They'll say, "I can't stand being alone." What they really mean is, "I can't stand myself." The Stoic doesn't run. He observes. He studies the storm inside his chest, and instead of resisting it, he lets it teach him. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that defines your freedom. So, when solitude brings pain, you don't panic. You breathe. You let it burn away what's false. That's how you dominate your inner world, not by controlling others, but by mastering your response to what's within. And then, something shifts. You begin to crave that silence, not because it's peaceful, but because it's real. You start valuing your own company. You start realizing that solitude sharpens your focus, cleanses your emotions, and makes you stronger than any crowd ever could. You no longer need validation to feel worthy. You no longer chase attention to feel seen. You see yourself, fully, honestly, brutally, and that's liberation. That's Stoicism in its rawest form, self-knowledge through solitude. The modern world calls solitude depression, but for the Stoic, solitude is ascension. You're not withdrawing from life. You're recharging to engage with it more powerfully. You're not cutting people off. You're cultivating a stronger presence that doesn't depend on them. Because the truth is, solitude doesn't weaken you. It reveals who you are without the world's influence. Once you see that, no one can manipulate you again. You'll still love, still connect, still care, but from strength, not from need. That's what separates a Stoic from the restless masses. When you embrace solitude, you reclaim control over your emotions. You stop reacting to every opinion, every insult, every little wave that hits you. You become the ocean, vast, steady, unmoved. People will notice your calm and mistake it for arrogance. But you'll know the truth. It's mastery. It's the quiet confidence of someone who no longer fears being alone with their thoughts. That's what true freedom feels like. Not the absence of problems, but the presence of control. So, learn to be alone. Sit in silence. Watch your thoughts pass like clouds. Question them, challenge them, refine them. Build a relationship with your mind so strong that no one else's chaos can shake it. That's how you dominate your inner world. Not through force, but through understanding. The world will still test you. People will still disappoint you. Pain will still visit you. But when you've learned to master solitude, nothing external can destroy your peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That's not poetry. That's a roadmap. The retreat you seek is already within you. You don't need to escape the world. You just need to stop letting it dictate your peace. Once you do, you'll stop being a slave to noise. You'll walk through life like a calm storm, silent, powerful, and unshakable. So, the next time you find yourself alone, don't reach for your phone. Don't escape the silence. Sit with it. Feel it. Let it strip you of pretense, fear, and weakness. Let solitude break you down, because what remains afterward is the real you. And that version of you cannot be broken. You will understand what the Stoics always knew, that peace is not the absence of people, but the presence of mastery. And when you finally learn to be alone, you won't just find peace, you'll find power. You'll become a fortress within yourself, a mind that no storm can conquer. This is not isolation. This is evolution. This is the Stoic way of dominating your inner world.